Good morning. The last time I saw you guys, you were quite a bit more lively than this, so I hope you're planning to liven it up a bit and not let this crowd outdo you. Chancellor Drake, Senior Associate Dean Hubble, Associate Deans, Department Chairs, distinguished faculty, guests, friends, and of course, the UCI class of 2010. It is a profound honor for me to be before you here today at UCI to partake in the commencement ceremonies of a group of individuals who are destined to become 104 of the best doctors in America. My presence at this podium today is the most significant event in my medical and surgical career spanning 2 decades. It is so significant because the invitation to join you today came from a very special group of medical students. Students whom I admire immensely, students who are my pride and joy, students who give me true hope in the future of medicine in this great country of ours. Hope that American medicine's best days are still ahead, that its most lasting accomplishments are still to be realized, that one day the best healthcare in the world will be available to all our citizens without regard to financial status, personal circumstances, or status in society. On a personal level, today is also a truly special day for my family and I. Although I left UCI in 2008 and moved to a distinctly less pleasant climate, UCI has never left me. My career in pediatric surgery began and matured at this university. I had wonderful mentors and superb colleagues. 2 years ago, my mother spent the last 2 weeks of her life as a patient at UCI, attended to by some of the best physicians and nurses anywhere, and receiving the most compassionate care a patient and family can ever hope for. She lost her battle, but many who fought alongside her still practice at this medical center and still make a difference in the lives of patients every single day. This institution is strong, even when it passes through a storm or two. And here in Orange County, it is a source of hope for hundreds, possibly thousands of patients each year who are not welcome elsewhere. I say that UCI should stand in this community with true pride because it serves all who need service. I am proud to have been a member of this institution, and I know that my mother looks down on us from heaven today with admiration. It was also here at UCI where I learned one of the most profound lessons, a lesson that continues to guide me daily as an academic surgeon. This lesson, taught to me by the graduates here, is that medical students are our greatest asset as a medical profession. Their attitudes, their values, their vision matter, and matter very much. They, not the pundits, not the economists, not the administrators, not the politicians, they are our country's best hope for a healthcare system built on strong ethical principles. The graduates here today have in many ways served as an example to their mentors. I dare say in some ways, they have not only shown us the way, they have led us in reaching out for higher standards. From the pharma-free movement that rejects pharmaceutical financial incentives to physicians, to volunteering in developing countries, to starting a clinic for the uninsured in Orange County, to the struggle for universal health coverage, this class of 2010 has led us in reclaiming our great tradition and shedding the burdens that often hinder us from being the best we can be as healers. My first encounter with UCI medical students was in an embryology class in January 2005, shortly after Martin Luther King Day. Embryology is a rather dry subject, and I decided to spice things up a bit at the end of the lecture by putting up one of my favorite King quotes. Of all the forms of inequality, King said, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. Once the students recovered from their initial shock that a surgeon was speaking about social justice, and yes, I still use that term with no hesitation, their curiosity was aroused and I was invited to come back for more. One of the most remarkable experiences of my early career was to watch students become passionate about healthcare policy, about ethics, about their future patients, about their community, about their state, about their country. And so we assemble here today on this beautiful California morning, under this warm, perhaps too warm California sun, to mark a sentinel moment in the lives of 104 individuals who are just heartbeats away from becoming America's newest doctors. It is a moment of gratitude, a moment of celebration, and a moment of reflection. 19 years ago, almost to the day, I remember being a new medical graduate myself. In the excitement of the days that followed my commencement, I was still trying to process the experience of the previous 4 years, to understand the many different emotions wrestling through my soul. I wrote an essay published in Montreal's English newspaper, in which I tried to share some of those emotions. I dug out that newspaper last week and read my own writing for the first time in 19 years. And although the paper had yellowed and withered, I realized that those words are just as relevant today as they were when it was me sitting in those seats, waiting to rise up and claim my privilege to practice medicine. And today I want to share with you, the class of 2010, some of these words written almost 2 decades ago, because I believe they would be your words as well. My medical school period, especially the last 2 years of clinical training, has involved me in the most intense human experiences. I shared the joy and excitement of childbirth and the sadness and pain of death, sometimes within the same 24-hour period. I sensed the terrible fear of a crippled child left alone in a hospital, and the loneliness and despair of the abandoned elderly in their final days. I worked with cocaine addicts and alcoholics, and saw firsthand destroyed lives that were once prosperous, broken families that were once united, and humiliated people who were once proud. Medicine brought me face to face with the ugliness in our society: crime, suicide, rape, child abuse. It took me to the inner city ghettos and the Indian reservations, and taught me that pain and suffering know no racial, political, or economic boundaries. The breadth and diversity of this human experience always reminded me not to take my medical training for granted. Often, after 36 hours or more straight in the hospital, I would leave for an outside world that felt awkward. On the streets, life continued uneventfully, and people went about their business as usual. But I often left the hospital in body while my mind was still within the boundaries of suffering and upheaval. The medical school period is indeed one of the most intense human experiences a young person can go through. And how one emerges from this experience, how one molds this experience into the early professional life as a young physician, in my opinion, dictates the type of physician that person will be. And so I pray that you, the class of 2010, have emerged from your medical school experience as excited as the day you began, and filled with gratitude. Gratitude for the patients who provided themselves as human classrooms, gratitude for your mentors and teachers, gratitude for your families and friends who supported you these past 4 years. Gratitude for the bonds of friendship you have formed, and gratitude for the power to cure and the privilege to heal that will be bestowed upon you today. And as you progress through your medical career, I pray that you will continue to find reason every day to be thankful. Thankful for the people who trust their lives, and sometimes even more profoundly their children's lives, to you every day. Thankful for the respect of your community. Thankful for a comfortable and secure standard of living. And thankful for living in a free and open society where your voice can always be heard, and where you will be judged by the power of your intellect, the intensity of your energy, and the honesty of your purpose. If you often remember to be thankful, I can promise you that gratitude will be your sustenance. In 20 years of practicing medicine, I have observed a consistent phenomenon that occurs in the lives of those physicians who become cynical and bitter, who experience burnout, who lose vision and purpose. That phenomenon is a disappearance of gratitude and its replacement by entitlement. Those who feel profoundly entitled have difficulty being of profound service. We physicians have much to be thankful for. And in the words of the greatest healer who walked this earth, from those to whom much has been given, much will be